Hello friends, welcome back. There we go, clearing our space. Okay, here we are. Day 2. Day 2. Or 2 day. Yeah, whatever. Well, look at that. That was like ridiculous twice. I guess I got to be paying attention. My nose is running. I just ate some. Ow! I just ate something that's causing me to have a runny nose. Okay. Anyway, how are you? Well, here we are again. My heart is open to love. So here we are on day 2 of what we should know. Just tapping in. My heart is open to love. A good thing. I mean, it is a good thing. Probably a good thing too, because something's coming and you want to be receptive. I've been having lots of conversations about male and female energy lately. Just because they're coming up in situations. And it's really interesting how screwed up society is. Interesting, but man, did they screw us up. Man, oh man. Even just in my lifetime, I could see so many things. And I remember when they were doing them and I was saying, this is not good, this shouldn't be happening. Nobody listened. Okay, live your life with both feet in. Commit fully to being here. Yeah. That's the point, isn't it? You're here. Yeah, well, and then isn't that the other thing? They don't want you to be thinking about the fact that you're here. They want you to be thinking about paying bills or worried about paying them back or some other thing, a war or some cause or I don't know. Not enough money, place to live, being threatened, being jailed. Fear, constant state of fear. That's where they want you. That's where they keep you. What's the opposite of fear? Love. What's the opposite of this card? Being distracted. Commit fully to being here. Yes. First house. Self. Well, what does it say on the card? Arrival. Yeah. Here you are. You. Self. Oh, I love these colors. This pink. I'm wearing pink today. Okay. First house. That should be easy to find, too. This book is notorious for having difficulty. Yeah. Okay, here we are. Excuse me already. Houses 39. First house. The first house describes how you enter the world, your first impressions and the birth, your journey of self-discovery. If your chart were a village map, the first house would be the gateway and information center. Planets in the first house are just about to rise over the eastern horizon. Excuse me, where the sun would be just before dawn, so we feel them strongly. The action? Take responsibility for how you are perceived. As you walk in the door, assess what you lead with, what your mannerisms, appearance, and signals say. Notice if you lead with charm or prickly defenses, with your mind or heart, or whether you are versatile, changing your approach to fit the circumstances. Investigate how this first impression affects your identity and interactions. People read what you put out, whether you are acting as a business, as a person, or as a couple. It's up to you to ensure that's how you present yourself matches your intention. If you feel misunderstood, look for misconception, yours or theirs, underneath any tension, and excuse me, underneath any tension, and see what can be done to clear this lens. If you strive to be invisible, neutral, or enjoy an air of mystery, and play your cards close to the chest, it becomes easier for others to protect their assumptions or project their assumptions onto you. That's true. Consider becoming more transparent and letting your inner worth shine. The first house can also bring with it a surge of temper or other strong emotion that rushes to your head like mercury in a hot thermometer. If this happens, bring your awareness back down to your feet. This metaphor also applies to business or project. Leadership may be too strong and attention needs to be brought back to the boots on the ground. The challenge? You are challenged to see beyond the shallowness of appearances. See behind smoke screens and take responsibility for how you are perceived. Gift. Evaluate how you interact with the world as the beginning of a journey of self-discovery. Excellent. Gotta say, I really like reading those cards. They always make sense. They always add so much to the reading. I mean, clearly, a lot of good advice. A lot of good stuff. Alright, so we'll see how that all fits together. Here we have the Green Witch Oracle deck. And we're going to see what this little gem is going to advise us today. Alright. And we have the Mortar and Pestle. So mixtures, grinding things down. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's right in the front. Well, I guess I was wrong. Mortar and pestle, integration, subtlety, thoroughness. The goals of the mortar and pestle are twofold. First, to reduce the size of something, and then to combine ingredients. In a spell, in order to evenly combine your components, you need to break them down into smaller parts. The grinding motion used with a mortar and pestle can appear aggressive, and applying too much force can make your ingredients fly everywhere. Use finesse. Be gentle but thorough. Take the time to blend things evenly. This card tells you that something in your life needs to be better incorporated. It could be as simple as integrating. I'm sorry about my voice, excuse me. It could be as simple as integrating your practice into daily life, or something more complex, like finding balance between two relationships. Whatever it is, take it slow, or you'll scatter what you're trying to integrate. What parts of your life do you need to blend more seamlessly? That's a big question. I hope my voice doesn't cut out here. Okay, well, we need a tarot deck. So, we've got one here. So let's see what the reading is for the second day of this cycle. Day number 2. Or 2 day. Alright, what are you going to tell us, little tarot deck? So we start out as the moon illusions, but sometimes the full moon comes and shows us something we didn't see before. But that little lobster is out of his element. He's out of his element. He's feeling, oh, it's usually a lobster. It's a fish, which is even more emphatically out of his element. Excuse me. Okay, so what's the challenge here is the Queen of Cups. Ooh. Queen of Cups is emotional maturity, leading with the heart, very open, generous. Do we need to be more like that, or are we trying to achieve that? Are we trying to be her? Are we trying to be seen as her, considering we're talking about illusions of who you are and who you present to be? Okay, and Seven of Wands is somebody who's standing his ground. He's made a decision about something and he says, no, it's going to be this way, and that's how it is. So, masculine energy, definitely. Putting your foot down, though, and saying no. Defensive, active yet defensive, stormy, and yeah, confrontation, lack of cooperation. That seems to be what's happening here. We're looking for a fight. I think yesterday there was something about opposition. Yes, it was this card, and it was opposition. This could be what we're seeing here, is that opposition that was predicted. Wands, active cards. And nostalgia, I think that was also Six of Cups is nostalgia and memories and maybe flashbacks, but childhood things from the past. That was also in the reading yesterday. And let's see, the tools we have available are, Knight of Pentacles, so there you go. This is what they call the baby empress, sovereign, free, able to do what she wants when she wants, living life in a sovereign way with no worries about paying things. Also balanced, as it was pointed out. There's 6 pentacles here and 3 here, so there's a sense of balance to that card. Those are good things to have available, like anything you ever want whenever you need it. The great tools. What the fuck? King of Pentacles is the way we see ourselves, so there we go. Quite sovereign, quite grounded and secure, like a rock secure. That's Earth and luxury. And yeah, I feel like Taurus. Yeah, Taurus, there's the bull. Liking food, liking luxury, liking the good things in life, materially. Judgment. Okay, that's the environment. So something's judgment. Something's being judged, looked at, examined closely, evaluated. And we have that's the environment. So hopes and fears are Page of Wands. So maybe a message coming in, but maybe in immature action or immature restlessness, motivation. Maybe that mature energy too. Maybe we need that mature energy, the immature energy for really mounting a response to the conflict that we are seeing here. Maybe being victorious This is where we stand our ground. We are challenged, yet we are victorious here, perhaps. Setting off with his wand, setting off in a new direction. Okay, final outcome. Three of Pentacles. Recognized skills, recognized value in the community. A member, contributing member of society. So, okay. So in light of this, how we appear to other people and how we appear to ourselves, that's pretty much like your rising sign is how you show up to the world, essentially, because the sun is rising, and so that's how everyone sees you, and that's how everyone interprets your behavior through your rising sign. So it's important to know what that is, because that's what everybody else is going off of. And your sun sign is more about a lot of your, almost programming. It's the overlay of the dominant features of who you are, it seems to me. And the moon sign is sort of your secret self, what you do, but you don't really talk about it with other people. It's just, that's something that you just do, that you know you do, but it's sort of a private thing that you know about yourself, that other people don't even know to look for, because it's almost like a secret self. So those are the three astrological signs. If you want to look at astrological signs, you want to know, if you run a birth chart, even on these little programs, if you run a birth chart, you'll see what your ascending sign is, or your rising sign, your sun sign, obviously most people know that, and then your moon sign, and those three are the big three that pretty much dictate a lot of your behavior. There's other things like, Pluto and Venus and Mars, and there's a lot more to astrology. But anyway, even if you just know those three things, it can tell you a lot about yourself. You can learn a lot about yourself. So anyway, I went off on a tangent. But in light of learning about ourselves, here we are in the mystery of who we are, learning more about ourselves, perhaps. And maybe that's true. Maybe this card is saying that we're even a mystery to ourselves. We don't even know who we are. Other people see us differently, and they respond and say things, and we say, well, that's not us. But that could be who you are in your rising sign. You may need to find out more about yourself that you don't know. And some of these programs, too, you're working on these programs, or you're working off programs, you're running programs that cause certain behaviors, your own behaviors. And as you're running the programs, they're invisible to you. You don't see them until all of a sudden, one day you do see them. So I think that might be this card. That might be who we are, how we're showing up, and we're trying to figure out who we are. And we're being challenged by, we want to be someone in their heart, and someone who is loving and caring. We want to be that for humanity. But that's a hard thing to be, especially in today's environment. I mean, it's very threatening all the time. It's hard to be this. So we're standing our ground, and we're saying, all right, I made a decision. I'm going to do the best I can to find out who I am, to go inward and to find out who I am. And then when I do, I am going to defend that position. I'm going to defend that position of my individuality. So here I am discovering as an individual who I am. Maybe after the first Saturn return, somewhere around 30 years old, your Saturn comes around again, because it takes that long. And the first time that comes around, it's called the first Saturn return. And when the first Saturn return happens, you no longer think about the way your parents programmed you to think. You begin to think for yourself, and you reach a level of maturity, and you start to form your own opinions, and you start to say, nah, I don't I don't really like football, and I'm not going to watch that anymore. That was my family's thing, and I'm kind of done with that. And move on from there. But you start making your own decisions, and you start departing from repeating things your parents said, because that's what you believe too. Once you know about this, you can see people doing this, especially younger people. You almost can hear their parents when they speak. Anyway, so you've decided you're your own person now, and you're standing your ground. You know who you are as an individual, and this should happen sometime around 30 years old. But there's conflict. Other people still want you to be that other person they can push around or whatever and go drinking with. And you don't want to do that anymore. So there's conflict and there's conversation about that, because you're saying, no, I'm going to grow up. And they're saying, don't grow up, be a child forever, be distracted with us, waste your life. And you're going, no, I don't want to waste my life. And you have memories about things, and you know, oh yeah, I remember when I was a kid, blah, 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 fill in the blank. But you are a sovereign. Once you stand your ground and you decide who you are, you're sovereign. That's it. The rest of it, you understand, comes and goes. It's material things that you can either manifest or, use appropriately. But once you're there, you're there. So here we are, King of Pentacles. And, you've made that judgment, and you've called people out on their stuff. And now you're about to walk out into the world, Here you are, still with that wand that you retained through all of this. And you've got your motivation, you're fresh, energetic, ready. The ground, there is nothing here. You can develop whatever you want, or build, or put, or do whatever you want. It's just fertile ground, ready for you to build your dreams upon. And, you have confidence because you've done the work. You are recognized for your skills. You made a difference, and you proved yourself, and you have achieved mastery on some level. So even as a young person, even just getting to the Saturn return and facing those changes and changing, that's a big deal. Seriously, that's a big deal. Facing those changes and changing. But a lot of people don't even know they exist, and then, they miss a giant opportunity. Gee, does that sound like it's purposeful that they do that? They don't want you to know this stuff because you might really understand where you are in your life and make appropriate adjustments. Well, anyhow, let's look at the Lenormand and see what cards come out for us. Alright. Okay, Lenormand, tell us what we need to hear. The Sun, well, that's masculine energy, that's strength, that's warmth. And the Snake, yeah, that's the world. Treachery, trickery, betrayal, untrustworthy frenemies. And the Woman. So there's masculine and feminine energy here. This is humanity. And it's too bad there's the man and the woman and the snake between them. What does that remind you of? Even if you're not Christian. That's a little obvious. It's a little bit obvious. Yeah, I agree. That's a little bit obvious. So, anyway. This story. Is this triggering you? There's so much in there. There's just so much in there. Okay, Moon card. Look for a little clarity here with our Moon card. This was an interesting reading about growth, personal growth. The story of growing up, basically. Yeah, live your life. Both feet in. Both feet in. He doesn't have both feet on the ground. Balance spirituality and practicality. Yeah, you can be spiritual, but you still gotta exist here. You still have to function on some fashion in this 3D realm, place, reality. Okay, balance spirituality and practicality. Coming from a Pisces of all places. Full moon. New moon, full moon. Way at the end, way at the end. Pisces, balance spirituality and practicality. Have you been so head in the clouds that you've lost touch with reality? If so, take this, well, here we go. So take this card as a sign that you need to pay attention and make a concerted effort to move toward your goals. The more practical steps you can take, the better. It's time to find an inner balance between your responsibilities and your dreams. Meditate on your question, and the solutions to your issue may now come through very clearly. If you're in a tricky situation because you've been acting the martyr, this card will be a message from the cosmos to drop the act for everyone's sake. Meditate every day and see what comes to you. Answers will come. You're in a super romantic but not a super realistic state. Follow your intuition, it won't let you down. At worst, this card can herald the end of a dream. The person you're inquiring about is a soulmate. Avoid substance abuse. Yeah, like going and getting like yourself very drunk. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, so the full moon in Pisces symbolically marks endings. When the moon is full in Pisces, or whenever you pull this card, it's a time to dive deep into your emotions. Practicality is at odds with the numinous Pisces energies that have no borders, so feel your way now. Psychic ability is heightened when the full moon is in Pisces, and soulmates now connect. It's also a time to send out your dreams to the universe, releasing your fears. Well, I think that was a very congruent message, very cohesive. A lot of it came together in a lot of ways. It was the description of the elephant from many sources. That story, it's like a snake, it's like a tree trunk, it's, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It's like a giant tree. And our animal today will be... Who's coming to see us? The gazelle. The gazelle. That's great. We haven't had the gazelle and I can't even remember when. Okay, elegance. I know the gazelle is elegance. Well, it's not water. We know that much. Is a gazelle fire? Yeah, it is. It is. This little book, I like the little cards, they're easier than the bigger ones. But this little book is so hard to work. It's like the little frogs. Okay, gazelle. Heightened awareness and ability. Vulnerable. The gazelle represents supreme grace. With every move, this awe-inspiring beauty emits sophistication and elegance. Gazelle personalities are often hyper-aware of their surroundings, bordering on hypervigilant, and this can inhibit them from enjoying the beauty they've spent so much effort cultivating. No more worrying about all those predators out there in the wild. When this card appears, it's time to get back to the present moment. Present moment. Sit down, find your breath, and acknowledge the bounty that surrounds you. Bounty that surrounds you. Bounty that surrounds you. Bounty that surrounds you. Let's see. Let it nourish your gentle spirit. When in balance, graceful, perceptive, and artistic. So, here we are. Okay? Standing your ground, making a difference, becoming this, standing your ground, handling the conflict, and learning from it as well, but discovering things about yourself, discovering who you are, no longer under the illusion, and you can live in your heart. My heart is open to love right there, but grounded and ready to go. Mastery achieved. Okay, so I am not sure what you're going to get out of that, but that was a nice reading. And thanks for your attention. Like, share, subscribe if you will. I'll see you around. See you tomorrow, maybe.